Welcome back, fight fans. This is the DAZN Boxing Show. I go by the name of Barak.
And I'm Barak, the Boxing Bully.
Thank you for joining us once again. We can't let the week go by without talking Jake Paul, Tommy Fury. Big preview here on the opening bell. You know, Barak, John Fury is very vocal, very confident in his son, despite of his level of opponents or how he's looked in certain fights as of recent. But I guess there's a comfort level that John Fury has because of the fact that Jake isn't an experienced fighter and hasn't been around the sport as long as Tommy has been. But I think that could be a mistake, Barak. Now, I don't know what John knows, but I think people need to start respecting and treating Jake as a real fighter. Yes, not a prospect, but a young fighter, only fighting 6 rounds or 8 rounds, but nevertheless a real professional fighter. Because sometimes you might have something special, even without, you might lack an experience. That doesn't mean you don't have something else, another X factor that can get you by fighting a more experienced fighter. And I think they need to be real careful with that.
No, I think we need to be more careful with using the word experience when we're talking about Tommy Fury. First of all,
true.
Where's the proof of this experience? Like,
well, when I say that, I'm saying being around the family, Barak. I don't mean.
All right, but there's a difference between being around boxing and being trained how to box. True. You know, because George Foreman had a bunch of sons, all named George Foreman. Most of them ain't boxing. The ones that didn't go far.
Too far.
You know, and then you got Gary Russell Sr., who had a bunch of sons, and they're all pretty good.
Now, they were all trained in boxing, to your point.
Exactly. So you can be around. Miguel Cotto got a couple of sons, and they ain't putting on gloves. So you could be around the sport all your life, but not be a good boxer and not have any experience. Now, we look at his record. His record says almost the same kind of experience that Jake Paul has. And I'm not talking about opponents. I'm just talking about in time, the length. He doesn't really have that much experience, right?
Well, is it fair to say that Jake has a better resume than Tommy and actual more experience with, like with real battle-tested fighters?
It's not safe to say that. No,
it is what it is.
Because you're gonna look bad. It's not safe to say that just because.
Okay. But is it true? Damn it being safe. Is it true?
No, it's just because I hold Silva to high regard. Most of the world is really not looking at Silva the way I'm looking at him.
Yeah, but compare Silva to Tommy's opponents, all of them.
I think Silva's better than every opponent Tommy has ever fought.
Compare even Tyron Woodley to Tommy Fury's opponents. I'm just saying, listen, I'm not saying Woodley.
Not a boxer.
We know he's not a boxer. I understand that. I'm aware of that. I'm saying compare him and his level of skill to the opponents that Tommy Fury has faced.
I mean, he's not that skillful as a boxer. You know what I'm saying? Just
My
because
point,
he's a
exactly.
great MMA fighter, just because he's a great MMA fighter, he wasn't a skillful boxer. It takes time to really narrow that down, to really get that down pat.
You still ain't answering my questions, but I'll let you slide on this one.
I like Anderson Silva, and I think he's a very good opponent. I think he's a very good opponent, seriously. People are not calling him a boxer, even though he had professional fights, and he beat a real boxer that none of those guys that Jake Paul beat, or none of those guys before, and none of those guys that Tommy Fury has beaten can beat him. Right. You understand? Can beat Chavez Jr. I'm pretty sure of that. So yes. I hold Anderson Silva in high regards, but after that, nobody else. But I look past that. I look at the eyeball test. I look at skill set. I look at coordination, and it looks different. It doesn't look like Tommy Fury is the more seasoned, experienced guy.
Fighter. Yeah, I mean, I like that point. I mean, when you really look at it from a time perspective, like how long these guys been actually competing at that level, not a high level, but at that
at a low level.
Yeah, meaning at a
just
level
competing.
where
That's it.
But at a level where people are watching, right? At a level where there are eyeballs, there's awareness. But regardless of who you fight, I'm saying
really
on a big stage,
they're at the bottom. It's just that their awareness is because of one, their name, That's
Right,
Fury.
but
And the
that's-
other one, he's famous already.
But
on
that's my
YouTube.
point. I'm not talking about the level of opponents are high. I'm talking about the level of eyeballs on them, especially with Jake Paul and Tommy
Gotcha.
Fury just recently fought on a big card, on the undercard of Floyd Mayweather. So there are a lot of eyeballs on both of these guys. So I'm saying all that to say that a little bit added pressure. You know, you're fighting in front of a lot of people in the venue and all around the world because these guys, you know, people like them, especially Jake before boxing. So I think that Jake has handled that well. Tommy, I haven't seen enough of him. I haven't seen him face adversity. I did see Jake face adversity against Anderson Silva. And I saw Jake suck it up. And I saw Jake fight through some tough spots in that fight because Anderson had some moments in that fight. I haven't seen that with Tommy yet. So I think this will be the first time.
Very good point.
I think this is the first time, in my opinion, because I do see Jake applying some real pressure and putting Tommy Fury in some vulnerable moments throughout the fight. So now we're going to see if Tommy Fury can deal with that. We've seen Jake deal with it.
Right, that's a very good point. Now, we also seen Jake get rocked by Tyron Woodley and come back, you know,
Right,
keep his
good
composure and fight to win that fight. You know, Tommy has a whole lot of confidence. And his heart, if we want to talk about being around boxing and being from a boxing family, if he has that kind of heart that the Furies have, then he will have no problem. He will have no problem no matter what happens in that ring. You know, I'm loving the confidence, and you had brought up that John Fury was confident for his son, but also Tyson Fury. He's saying some pretty big allegations saying, you know, if my brother loses, if Tommy Fury loses, I'm going to retire him myself. Now, obviously, you have no power to retire anybody, but to say that would make the crowd, if he loses, say, okay, Tommy, you got to retire. Tyson Fury retire him, you know. So these are pretty big claims.
Yeah, I mean, look, we all know that Tyson says a lot of things out there. And he puts a lot of things out on social. So, you know, we don't think he's going to take that to the grave. I do feel that maybe he's adding a little pressure, a little motivation to his brother. Hey, like, you're supposed to beat this guy. You're supposed to beat this guy. So get it done. I don't necessarily agree with that. Look, at the end of the day, this is a fight that I will be watching. And it's going to be on the DAZN pay-per-view in Canada and Brazil.
Yeah, I'm going to be in
Sunday.
Canada that day.
You're going to be in Canada that day?
Yeah, I'll be in Canada that day.
It will be on the DAZN pay-per-view in some territories, all right? So you don't want to miss that. That's our show for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Peace and love. Stay safe. We're out of here.
Introducing the new DAZN Boxing Show podcast. No matter the time or the place, getting your boxing content has become easier than ever. Tune in as we give you exclusive insights, predictions, fight night recaps, and more alongside the biggest names in the game. All for free. Available globally every Thursday across all audio streaming platforms and with new episodes dropping weekly to give you the latest news. Just type in the DAZN Boxing Show podcast, listen in, and enjoy.